Hey guys, so this is going to be like the official deep dive part one into mine and my son's story. You will hear me repeat some of the same parts, like the two videos that I just posted. That was the list that we'll be going over. But like, here is all of the paperwork evidence we'll be going through. No, I'm not going to dox anybody. I will not be showing his personal information. I will be reading from this, though, so you'll know. And then I also have the audio. Keep in mind, like I said, I am in a one-party consent state because I play a recording. I had the legal right. It was legally obtained, and I have the right to share it. That being said, legal disclaimer, I have the right to talk about this case and to read the case because I am involved. My child is involved. I am not going to be giving the other party's private information, addresses, or anything like that. Second of all, if you know who this party is, I do not want anybody to contact them or do anything in regards to that as far as the other person, his dad. Okay, so getting into it. We did the private DNA test, and that was in January 2021, and it came back on the 27th, of course, positive. And he had asked why he was born in October of 2020. He had to save up the money. He wasn't really around, didn't really do much throughout the pregnancy. It was back and forth. Like I said, though, he does have another child. It's not an excuse. It wasn't acceptable really to me. But that's beside the point. Like, it was really to show up and help set up the baby stuff, and show up for your kid. Like, I was completely left with an infant after being cut open. I was cut open by myself through a traumatic C-section where he was literally dying. And had to recover in the hospital, and then went through the whole NICU process by myself. He was not present for it. He had the opportunity to be because it was during COVID. And the nurse had said that they would allow me to bring him in late and allow me to change out my support person because it was my disabled father who couldn't get up to the hospital floor barely to even see him. And I have texts from that night, and I'll be having to download those, where literally he had said he would take me to the hospital that night to see Phoenix because he wanted to go in and sign to be the support person. Now, I didn't mean signing the VA or anything. That was simply saying that he was authorized to be in the NICU because of COVID. And when I messaged him in regards to, are you coming to get me? I want to go see Phoenix. He was tired and taking a nap. I'm not joking. Okay, if you want to zoom in, you can see right there, paternity probability, 99.99. No, I'm not going to show the names again because that's good. We just have to display whose genetic information is what, and I'm not going to do that. It's also my child, too. BioGuard, which is actually a accredited lab in Canada that has their base in New York. But there was no legal chain of command, meaning we did not put a tracking number on it when it was mailed. He took it to the mailbox. Could have signed the VA, but we were made to believe, he was made to believe that we weren't allowed to because that test was done absolutely correctly. I watched the videos on how to do it. Nobody ate, drank, anything like that. So his girlfriend was present for it, the other child's mother. And so when we went and signed the birth certificate mid to end of February at the health department, they were doing the vid shots and said that child support would handle the voluntary acknowledgement paternity papers as he wasn't at the hospital, like I said, everything that had happened. So when I contacted the support enforcement to ask them about signing the paternity and the voluntary acknowledgement, I was told, yes, that was an option, et cetera, et cetera. And I would have to have an appointment. They'd get back to me because they'd have to look, see if everything had been turned in because I told them, yeah, it was turned in. And that's when they seen I was on TANF application, mind you. So the next thing we know, around the beginning of March, it was actually February when I typed this, I hadn't had the documents out. We received the court order for child support to gather information. So February, we received the initial contacts. Let's get into that. So you can see the date 2/5/21. I'm covering up my name and address, which is all. I ain't worried about that, but I don't want to expose his names on here marked down. So this was to collect the data on 2/5/21. Okay. Then again, I received another letter that came at the same time on 2/5/21, and I am going to again cover his name and my name, but so that you can see 2/5/21 Child Support Enforcement Office. Okay. And this is to provide the services on your child support case. They assign our number and they sent me a debit card where child support would be being applied, which I found interesting because I didn't think they actually assigned the debit card until you were found to be the father. So that leads me to believe, because like I said, I contacted when I found out I was on TANF. I immediately gave them the DNA test that we did. I sent it to him and said, hey, we already know he's the father. We're going to sign the birth certificate, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. Something I want to mention too is what's really crazy is they sent a letter saying they didn't receive even his information back when TIS was the ones who sent it into them. Because here on 2/25, and then and I'm not gonna keep showing you guys the dates. You're just gonna take my word for it because it's hard. February the 8th, 2021. I'll show you this because it shows the title, the attorney's name, which that is who is responsible there. Okay. And they're a public servant, so that's public record and my name. So this is the legal notice to applicant or recipient of child support services that I received on the 8th. Now, mind you, on the 5th, they had sent out for collection of information. Okay. And the 8th, I then received the legal paperwork. But what I was talking about that I found really strange was then they turn around on 3/5/21 and tell me that the letter is to inform you of our intent to refer the following case to the Department of Human Services for failure to cooperate in child support enforcement efforts. The decision is based on the following. You failed to provide copies of documents or other information necessary to the processing of your case. No, my caseworker provided all of it. And when I called them, that was proven to be true, because had they not had everything they needed, they would not send this official order to me. So if this tells you like how badly managed their office was, okay, if they're doing that type shit, right? So this whole packet right here is the I received it, Mark received it. We'll get into this one second because this has to do with the dropping of my son on the porch on the LabCorp test day. But what we're getting to here is this is simply saying that only the state of Tennessee, the state attorney represents and does not represent the individual person. So mind you, they push you into the system, say you have to cooperate, but we're not going to give you any legal support as the mother. I had no attorney, and if you call to try to get an attorney for this part of the process through legal aid, they don't do it. Paternity has to be established. He would either have to sign the birth certificate or a judge had put an order out. So this is just pretty much saying that the attorney doesn't represent me, and if I incriminate myself in any criminal laws, whatever, there's no confidentiality. That's all this is. And again, it was sent out on the 8th. So catch the next part. We'll get into the letter I received on the 25th of February. That is the actual order to go test. That's the other thing. We receive on the 25th a legal court order ordering us to go take a paternity test, a DNA test, and then on the 5th, they threatened to put me in for non-compliance. If you had enough to get a court order, you don't need any more information. There was like income stuff attached, and obviously DHS has mine if I'm on Families First and SNAP, so that was turned in. If Mark doesn't do his part, you're going to violate my case.